Welcome to SonarFeed.
Wow.
That I dropped low.
I'm taking. It's already hot in here. I'm taking this hood off.
I just became the coughing guy.
Welcome to SonarFeed
Princess
episode.
Bride.
I don't care what Brendan says. 199.1.
And actually, technically, it would have been 201 anyways, because we already did a half. So, up yours, Brendan. Make 7 up.
We'll make up our own numbers and you'll like it. It's alternative naming.
That is an alternative fact.
Anyway,
right there.
That is an alternative.
Alternative numbering.
How's it going, everybody?
Why'd we put the hoods up?
It was just funny, and now we confused you.
Well, if you really want to know.
Anyway, how are we doing?
It's a good day.
Should we maybe introduce ourselves? We have a temporary host in place of Ugo for a little while. Ugo's off actually doing something awesome in his civic duty right now, around the way, just doing some stuff involving city council and just some not awesome things that have gone on in the community of late. But he's doing something really awesome, so he'll be here close to about 8 or so. But sitting in for the moment is
That's your
Jake.
cue.
I guess I'm Jake.
Question mark. What's your Twitter handle, Jake?
At Jake from DM.
It's like Jake from State Farm, but
without
Des Moines.
the khakis.
The actual proper pronunciation of Des Moines. Yeah. And to
Which
your left.
I always thought that was a D&D. I thought it was like Jake the DM for a very long
Yeah.
time.
Jake the DM.
Damn, that
You
could be a
kicks
dungeon
ass.
master.
Sliding into your DMs.
Nice. That's a whole different discussion.
I know.
But so to Jake's left, who do we have here?
Oh, I'm Dave Clark.
AKA.
At Better
Everybody
Than.
forgot how to do this. This is actually really awesome right now.
Yeah.
To my left,
Is it really your left?
it is my left.
Okay. They're right.
Anyway,
I am Mark, a.k.a. SSFC Fody 13.
nice. And Tom Biro, a.k.a. Bougie Hooli. So welcome to Sonar Feed. It is the first practice eve.
First practice eve. I like that.
Yeah.
That's good.
Let's go with that. I mean, alt Sonar Feed is amusing, but we could make those jokes for the entire rest of the show. So we're going to not do
And
that.
Probably for the next 4 years.
Also. But anyway, so we have a few cool things to talk about tonight. So do we want to just dig in? How's everybody's weekend? Do anything exciting? Man, you guys are fire.
Yeah,
right now.
we're lit. So the weekend. Let me talk about what I did on the weekend. I had an awesome D&D session on Sunday. That was pretty cool. Saturday, I think, was more home improvement stuff. And the most outside of filling out resumes, most of my past week has been figuring out sound art coverage for the new season, because tomorrow is the new season.
Crazy. When did that happen?
It's needed to happen.
Yeah.
I've been kind of bored.
Nothing's been going on.
Winning the MLS Cup really shortens your off season.
Seriously, by a lot.
Yeah.
You
Because
don't.
then you get the parade afterward, and then
Right.
all of a sudden you're like, wow.
Yeah.
Practice.
Then it's
like-
Christmas.
It's like the end of season party, and then it was Christmas the next week, and you're like, oh,
But we're still, 2 months from the actual season? But what? 2
No,
weeks?
only 6 weeks.
yeah, dude.
Only 6 weeks
It's
from the season
Zach's got
starting.
testimonial March 1st.
Oh, jeez.
And then the March
4th.
4th.
March 4th
is the first match.
Yeah.
Yeah.
First match for Seattle, March
Maybe
3rd, the first in
for
the league.
first home match is about 2 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I will be in Houston for
Yeah.
that first
So,
match,
and Houston has actually stocked up on players for once. So,
including Dylan Remick.
They have the Honduran national team, Dylan Remick and DeMarcus Beasley. That's basically their roster.
they're coming for it. Or something.
I mean, they did a great job outing quality talent from Central America.
Jake's
It was good.
microphone not on?
It's on. He's just quiet.
Am I
Jake, you
quiet?
need to
Maybe I
talk
should
louder.
speak up for
Oh,
once?
see,
Can
I
you
hear him
enunciate?
fine. I think it's
Enunciate?
Yeah.
There's a
Jesse, go buy new equipment.
Anyway, so first practice is tomorrow. Who's going to first practice?
Hand. Yeah.
These people are going to
Hey.
first practice.
I've
No,
got my.
un-
The
Unfortunately not.
unemployed part of the table is going to first practice tomorrow.
It's the advantage.
It is.
I sent the I sent the explainer to the Sounders. I'm like, here's who Sounder Heart's sending as media. And I'm like, so and so's going to cover this and this and this, and I'm like, I'm going to be there because I don't have anything else to do.
And they were like, okay.
Yeah.
Nice. So first practice tomorrow, 10:30. Slight change from previous years. They'll be playing on fields 3 and 4.
3 and 4. Those are those ones that are kind of tucked in behind the stadium and the indoor facility.
So like when you go for Open Cup or S2 or other things and you're up in the stands in the stadium and you turn around at halftime to like heckle children playing in whatever games, it'll be those fields. No one does that
I would never heckle children.
while holding a white wine.
Small good news is there are a few bleachers out there, so like you might be able to see a little bit better because the bleachers. And then if your view is really blocked, I'm not recommending you go up there. But the back of the stadium's there, so
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, it should be
it's gonna
awesome.
be easier to see what's going on.
Should be awesome. It's not like we're seeing 10 brand new people that have
No,
been
I think there's
shipped
about
in.
10.
Is it 10? Is it really that many?
They've announced already.
Well, that there's
So I mean, you've got your 2 new homegrowns.
right.
You got
That's
Brood.
Shea Adekoya and Henry Wingo, the 2 homegrown players.
Right.
You got Brune. You got
Right.
Ship.
Right. Those are the 2
So we
that
got
I would
the
say jump out at
Princes.
most people, right?
Okay, and then you've got Bakey Goodman, the first-round draft pick.
Okay.
You've got
Oh, so it is 10.
Dominic Aduro, the
Jeez,
second-round
when did
draft
that
pick.
happen?
Last
We've got
week.
2
Yeah, seriously.
third-round draft picks, whose names like... No, Goodman wasn't the first.
The
Goodman's
turnover
a
is
third-round pick.
just crazy to me.
Nana Sinkame is the
Right.
first-round pick. Bakey Goodman, Jake Stovall,
Yep.
and then Kyle Bjorntham, who's in that weird... where you drafted or signed as a homegrown player. We don't really understand.
I, for some reason, have it as like 6 or 7
so
in
there's
my
6,
head.
8...
But I think
9.
the homegrowns, that
Those were
just
announced
had
what,
happened
2-3 days ago.
2 days ago, 3 days ago. Yeah.
So those are the 10 that we know.
Right. Plus, we have a
Lagerwey
trialist, apparently.
has been very vocal about a trialist that he called an 18-year-old center back from Africa. So there's that one, and then there'll be a dozen or there's going to be a half dozen undrafted college players there always. You got the 3 S2 trialists that they had previously announced that would play up or have the opportunity to earn the way up. They're going to have 40 to 45 guys there. It's weird because they're only going to have like 15 returning champions.
Yeah. Well, you know what? We should actually message Zach. We should just message Slalom and make sure they've let him out for the day so he can show up because Stefan Fry told him he needed to be there with a lounge chair and a
No,
and a
he's gonna
drink.
try out again.
Yeah. Nice.
He's gonna decide. to just,
Jake is trying to hit him out of the park on his first SonarFeed sit-in here.
He's gonna just like come out of retirement because he went out as a champion.
He's just going to come out and rough up some noobs. Sorry, trialist. I don't think that's going to happen, but
Probably not.
you never know. Anyway, so as far as practice goes, obviously we've got a lot of new faces. The 2 questions that I think jump out to me are, what's the Stefan Fry situation with the light injury or injury at this point? And will we see Clint Dempsey at all? Any thoughts? Who?
Yeah, I mean, Fry's going to be fine by opening day, and
Right, for sure.
They brought Brian Meredith back. We forgot about Brian Meredith,
that's right.
the former backup. So you've got Brian Meredith who has starts and Tyler Miller.
Yep.
And what's good about, there's kind of a good news about the Stephen Fry injury is that those 2 are going to get reps, and
Right.
Which is Miller could be a keeper of the future, and Brian Meredith is now in like his 5th year, and I think he was like a 3rd-round draft pick, and if you can turn a 3rd-round draft pick into a 5-year pro, you're doing a pretty good job. So there's another. So good news on the Fry. The Clint Dempsey situation is really interesting because that leads you to the you have this whole debate between Harry Shipp, Will Bruin, and Clint Dempsey.
Yeah.
Currently, it looks like two of those guys. Wait, Morris Ladera. Yeah, two of those guys could be starters with an outside chance of a Kovar or an Alvaro Fernandez earning time as well. But really, you got those three larger names like Clint, Shipp, and Bruin. Two of them are starters. One of them's on the bench. So that's kind of that's the heavy focus. But there's a lot of fun stuff that's going to happen on the back end of the 18, where we saw a Zach Scott last year a lot, and a Nathan Sturgis once in a while.
Farfans and Sturgis, and
This year, you're going to look at guys like an Aaron Kovar there or a Tony Alfaro.
Like the
O'Neal
back of the
Fisher
18
again.
or, the back of the roster feels like it's higher while still having a handful of, like, kids. They're going to get a minute here and there.
The top 13, 14 guys are basically the winners of the MLS Cup, Harry Shipp, Will Bruin.
Yeah.
It's a really good set
Yeah.
there. And it's, I think everybody should be confident in those guys.
But
We
there were
just saw
points
what
last
happened.
year where you were like, who are the 15, 16, 17, 18, like some matches when there were a lot of injuries or people out of town on international breaks, whatever. It's not to say that that'll never happen.
Like that time Fall Fan showed up for the U.S. Open Cup, and I was like, "Who's Fall Fan?"
Nice.
Forgot that he was on the roster.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he scored
It
those
worked
goals.
out that night.
He's going to be
So-
on trial with Red Bull.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, they open camp today.
Oh,
Send out they only have a 28-man roster. Mixed Discord, not on it.
Really?
Or not Red Bull, New York City then.
No,
If it was
yeah,
NYCFC.
FC.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got my New York's messed up. One of them's
The one who
Jersey.
actually plays in New York City.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the baseball team that plays in New York City. Got
Also, yeah. Interesting. Okay. Anyway,
but there's
I
a
feel
lot
like
of fun that like roster spots like 15 to 25 are going to be a lot of fun. They're younger than they've been in a few years, like since probably 9, 10, 11 in those areas. And remember, 2011 was a damn fine year, and that was the year had the Zakwani tragedy, but it wound up being they had 63 points to finish second in the league,
Right.
to the LA Galaxy at 67. That was Freddie Montero's best season.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite guy, Mike Facito, had his best season because they lost Nate Shakwa, O'Brien White, Steve Zakwani. So Alvaro Fernandez played and scored 11 goals in all competitions that year. So I kind of feel like the roster is structured very similar to that, where there's a bunch of youth that could wind up showing that they're quality MLS guys.
We somehow made it through that whole part without talking about the back end of the roster being the Alt 11.
Stop whispering.
Anyway, I was actually banned within one day. It was like whatever time alternative facts were announced yesterday. It was like, 8 o'clock Pacific or something like that. By 2, I was told that I was no longer allowed to make those jokes at home.
BM
It's just
Vaughn,
over.
Brendan Vaughn, who's in our chat room if you were watching live, just reminded me what I did Saturday. Went to the Academy games where I saw the U18s play the full. Oh, I say
Where
for
the
all of
fields
that.
were awful?
Well, their field was fine because they play on field 11,
The
which
others,
is turf.
yeah.
But it's part of why field 12 isn't going to be used is because that long cold snap at the beginning of January where
Right.
basically nothing thawed for 2.5 weeks. Yeah, the field looks like you'd expect it to if it never thawed.
Okay.
So that's probably why this week they're going to... Which will give them 2.5 weeks before they wind up back on the grass field on the back because they're going down to Tucson on Saturday or Sunday. So, yeah, it's pretty awful back there. But it was fun seeing the kids. 3 of them got called up to the national team this week. So,
Jake from DM is about to get preempted. Thank you, Jake.
Well done, Jake.
Jake was just holding it down for a
can we
little
all
bit.
do a favor and have Hugo never listen to my attempt?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Oh shit!
Yo, he wore flip-floppy
Hugo is
things,
wearing, yeah.
shower shoes, got shower shoes and interesting socks. Ugo, we should maybe they are shower shoes. Anyway, so Ugo's going to step in a second. We can probably Ugo. Any thoughts on? We talked a little bit about first practice.
Are you going to be there?
Are you going to make it?
Not be there, unfortunately.
I'm pretty certain your furnace went out.
Struggle bus. Sorry, I'm late, guys.
Hey, don't put your hand there. Actually, do put your hand there.
Yeah, man. No, I can't get out of. Can't get during the day.
Anything you're like looking forward to hearing about, or we talked a little bit about how I brought up Dempsey. Is he going to be there? And Fry, what's his status? Or my two big questions. Dave talked us through a lot of the younger players and new faces that we're going to see. Anything jump out at you or things you're excited to hear about?
Just excitement, man. I know that it's different because it's on a weekday, so I know it's going to be a lot different than the last couple of years where a lot of people showed up for a Saturday, and especially
Jesse's going to be there with donuts.
Nice. Especially this last season when it was pouring.
It was crazy.
It was pouring hard, so it's time for us. It makes a difference, man. There's a reason why Gonzalo Pineda is coming back and why people want to come back to this organization, because they feel how much the club means to us, and part of that is showing up, on these practices. My respect to everybody that can make it out there tomorrow. I will be with you guys in spirit, but I just want to see that everybody, see people. Hopefully, Dempsey's back and other folks are back. It'll definitely, be interesting to see them trying to get back into, game day shape and whatnot.
Yeah.
I'm sure there was a lot of celebrating over the last month or so. But yeah, man, it's exciting. We're that much closer.
It's crazy, right?
No, dude.
So you were saying it's 6 weeks. That's what David pointed out till season starts.
Wow.
Yeah. So pretty nuts.
Wow, that's like no time at all.
Pretty crazy.
It's basically 6 weeks since they won the MLS Cup, and it's 6 weeks.
Yep.
Well, that's perfect. I can see the screen.
And then you brought up really the next topic we wanted to talk about, and really what I think one of the things we talked about doing when we met a few weeks ago, and sort of trying to not really restructure, but just add something new to the show and always looking to improve year over year and frankly week over week, is to try and break it down into a few segments. So you'll see a couple new things once we really line this up. We're going to try some stuff out, but thinking about doing things like the week that was, so not necessarily talking about first practice necessarily, but talk about like news from the last week since the last show or last time we had been on the air at all, and then get into like the week or weeks ahead, and looking at that, and then really just kind of picking 5 things or something else and having kind of a third segment, third chapter, whatever you want to call it, third act to the show in any given week. So it's not really that we're going to break the show down into half hours or anything like that, but we're going to try and have a little bit of structure around things, just so people know what's coming.
We're also going to try to bring back the audio version to be able to just listen to the podcast audio version of it by itself. I am working on getting that piece done. Did a little research on software that's going to help me take that from all the YouTube videos that we already uploaded and just take the audio from it. I just got to work on how to edit it and get it back out there so that folks that want to just listen to it on iTunes, and what was the other one we're looking at? Stitcher.
People who sit in the car for 2 hours getting to work
I
or
do
bus.
that. Yeah, I do that all the time. So we'll
Plus,
get the audio only
that'll
back.
reduce your bandwidth
Or the train.
by a lot if you're doing it on your phone.
Nice.
Yep, for certain. So anyway, that's something we're working on. So talking a little bit about that week that was, the first thing up there was really Gonzalo Pineda coming back in the fold. So I think we all are extremely pleased to hear that. As much as I love him being on television, and I thought he was fantastic, and frankly, Ugo, I know we had talked with the Univision people, like they loved him to death. But I think he's excited to be a part of the Sounders, and you can see it in what he's said about it already.
It's pretty cool, too, because unlike so many MLS players that go directly into coaching, because they have like their C or D license that, means they can coach like the youth club.
Right.
He's like legit. He's got his A license. This is it's something that he was targeting for his future. When he retired, he's like, in a couple years, I want to go into coaching. Well, it's in 2.
Here you are.
They have 2 open spots on the senior team, and
Yep.
he took one of them. So we're probably going to hear about another new coach.
Yep.
Any
Soon.
day.
Yeah.
Maybe tomorrow. Who knows? And then they've got one open spot on S2 as well. You know, this is good. This isn't a case of just giving. They didn't just give it to him because he was a great player, you know, with World Cup experience. He got it because he went through the program,
Right.
you know, and he wants to be a coach, you know, and that's really great to see because when you're keeping your own, and it's not just this kind of nepotism,
And it also
familial
makes
thing.
a huge statement too, because the guy is well respected in Liga MX. He
In
got
the-
multiple offers.
Even beyond that,
Yeah.
I would say. I think people know him beyond
Yeah,
that.
and it's
You're not muted.
no. For him to choose to be back in Seattle made a big statement.
Right.
About, you know, where a lot of folks may think the future of soccer in CONCACAF is going, because I don't know if you guys saw, there was a convention of sorts regarding, I think it was coaching, or I can't remember what it was, but the colorful kid, Jorge Ramos, said that in his opinion now, it is the MLS is better for the youngest of prospects in Mexico to develop than
Which is
Mexico
crazy.
itself.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Considering like the academies that some of those clubs
Yeah.
have,
Yeah.
you know, and like I know they're not your club, but I've just followed enough of Liga MX to have done a little bit of digging into like Atlas. It's like they're known for being the academy, like that's one of the nicknames.
Yeah.
And like they just keep bringing up kids, and then the rest of the league just steals all of their players,
much, man. They've
and that's
all-
okay. But like they're known for doing that, like the country's known for doing that, and I do think it is a pretty significant statement.
Totally.
At the end of the day, like especially if you're one of the kids on the Sounders that got to play with Gonzalo Pineda, it's got to be pretty cool though, because you already know either you do or you don't have rapport with him.
Yep.
But aside from that, like if you know who he is and like respect his career and understand where he's coming from, like that's pretty cool. He's not just like some guy they pulled out of left field.
Again, the broadcasting world doesn't really lose a former Sounder that's bilingual
Good call.
because
Right.
you know it's going to be on ESPN. But
Right.
Herc,
Herc.
who clearly
out.
proved it during Copa America,
Yeah,
He was
did.
fantastic.
It was great.
you know, I was dreaming that he and like he's going to be a great color analyst or studio, whichever. He's going to be so appropriate there. What he can add and what he can bring to on ESPN, where it's going to be a generally wider audience that generally knows just English. What he can add about the Mexican game and Liga MX and the Mexican national team and his knowledge level in that base, and his ability to be completely and utterly fully bilingual is going to be so great for ESPN to have somebody with
Also for Brian Schmetzer to have.
Yeah,
No.
dude, like he played the prime of his career in Liga MX.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
I mean, that
Oh, yeah.
experience you can't replicate. You can't. You know, he's a very unique individual to have had so much success
Right.
both there and here.
Yeah.
I mean, everywhere he's gone, he's just won.
Well, it's just
championships.
there are obviously
does
tons
is
of
win.
players who've played in Liga MX and have played in MLS at some point, even if they just dabbled in one or the other
Right.
here and there. But like someone who put in a few years,
Yeah.
especially playing for good teams,
and led the league in
both.
scoring.
Yeah, so I think that's really interesting, and frankly, you know, somebody who understands things like CCL or
Yeah.
Open Cup and just appreciates hardware. You
I'm
know,
excited
is
about the confidence that, you know, I see it as a opening for more Mexican-born players to come through Seattle, whether it's short-term, long-term. There, a lot of people are going to go to Pineda and be like, "Hey,
oh yeah, you want
are
to play
recognized
for
as somebody that
Gonzalo
had
Pineda
Yeah.
good
for sure.
Success, you know, so
He should be able to, like, it's funny, he will either be there for the entry point, because sometimes the assistant coaches scout, but I expect his role to be at more like the closer.
So that's what I was going to ask.
Right.
Like, how do you think this breaks down? Because obviously you had, you know, Ziggy depart and Brian step up, and then you had Razov leave. And now you
Got
have
Jimmy Traore,
right.
You've got Tommy Dutra, who is amazing with keepers.
But they're people who've been there. So, like, have they shifted
nobody
roles
steals him
really,
from
though, yet? Or was there, like,
That's
that's what
gonna
I
be
mean.
one
Like,
of the-
what is
that's one of the
Pineda?
preseason things that I
What
need
is
to
his
figure out.
official thing? Like, is he?
So under Ziggy,
Brian?
they did break it down where, so Brian did tape and was kind of like, almost like the quartermaster on a pirate ship, where he was the guy that the players respected and went to, and then you would have an attacking specialist for a long time. That was Brian Schmetzer, but and then you'd have a defensive specialist, which was Ezra Hendrickson until he took over S2.
Right.
Then it was Jimmy and Ante Razov for the defensive
20 years.
and attacking specialist. So we don't know under a Brian Schmetzer, outside of the keepers coach, we don't really know what that structure is going to be like. We're going to find that out basically tomorrow.
Oh my God, dude.
Where we're going to find out, how does he build it? Like,
his
he
team-
was the tape guy. Who's going to be the new tape guy? Is he going to do all the tape? I don't know. Is Pineda going to be the midfield specialist, or are they going to break it down where it's basically going to be you have a keepers, a defender, and the head coach is going to put that in kind of almost an NFL-esque coordinators type
Right.
thing? Because Siggy was a big fan of that, and it worked really well up until the last couple of months.
years. Oh yeah, months.
They won supporter shields and open cups
Yeah.
and lots and lots and lots of games with that kind of specialist aspect. So
Is that how
we'll
they
need to
kept
figure it
for
out.
the rest of the year when he came on. When Schmetzer came on.
When Schmetzer came on, he kept the staff in their familiar roles.
Yeah, like,
He didn't want to make changes.
yeah,
really.
but like, would you assume his his Schmetzer, or let's say his assistant, his right hand person, like to make the baseball analogy, your bench coach, was that Traore? Like, or was it Tommy? Because
Probably Tommy.
It's probably Tommy, right? I mean, I remember you always see Tommy on TV, like, watching him on the bench.
If
I
I
definitely
remember
remember seeing a lot
correctly-
more of Tommy. But
Tommy and Brian roomed together on the road,
okay,
if I'm remembering correctly.
which would make sense. That he's that
Like-
guy though.
Yeah, and so because I remember him saying something like, "I lost my roommate when he got promoted."
Right.
Like Tommy Dutra, who tweets like once every 6
Yeah.
months.
Tweet more.
So
Coach.
it's going to be interesting because the whole structure of that coaching staff, and Kurt Schmidt is still there as the head scout,
Right.
and
GM
a little that is no longer listed, so we have no idea about that as well. Like the sporting side or the scouting side,
Right.
they only have 2 people that are full time in that right now, with Chris Henderson and Kurt Schmidt, because the third voice in that was Junior Gonzalez, who left S2. He was the academy and S2 scout.
I mean, do you?
Where'd
But
he go? Sorry.
like, think about who you like when
Rio
you
Grande Valley.
when you had Ante Razov though. Not only does he just have a wealth of experience, he's obviously a great coach for forwards and scorers to talk to.
Yeah.
But do you bring in, like you're just talking about, like breaking it down? Like Brendan asked, do you assume Gonzalo is defensive? I could see him doing
No,
a
because
little bit of
that's what
everything
Timmy Traore
and
is.
spending time with midfielders. But couldn't you see them just go finding somebody who's got like coaching chops that is a scary forward? Is that what you do, or is it you just bring in somebody who's a good soccer brain?
I don't know. I know Brian does a ton of tape, but I kind of want somebody to take,
Take
still
that work
watch
on?
it, but like somebody take over that kind of work.
I mean, it's the amount of time that goes into that.
Yeah.
Literally, that's the most.
And sure, maybe Schmetz still watches the majority of tape,
Right.
but maybe, he doesn't break it down,
Right.
kind of thing. And there's some advantages when you go with that coordinator type system, because you pool people in little buckets, and most of your players don't cross over those buckets. Brad Evans will often, and then the potential signing of Oduro II is the only other. Kyle Bjorntham a little bit, but pretty much that's it for your guys that are backline or midfield floaters. And then the attacking band of 3 and the forwards, most of the forwards they've got can drop into the band of three, and most of the band of three they have left now can play up top. So,
Maybe if Dempsey's going to sit out anytime, he could just be like an offensive terror coach.
You know, why not? Dude,
I would expect that Clint would be more like the Larry Bird type of coach, which didn't work out well.
For sure.
I could totally see that.
Not the Steve Kerr
thinking about
kind
other
of
stuff.
coach, which worked out.
Not thinking
great,
about
yeah.
dropping threes. He's thinking about like fishing.
Just get it done.
Anyway,
So I'm hoping they bring in another guy, or Schmetzer had a bunch of assistants and player coaches when he was in the USL era, and when the organization talks so much about community and family, from the end of your business meeting, they talked about community being big and the people being part of the Sounders family. I wouldn't be surprised if the somebody that's brought on is somebody from that past as
so
well.
it's Alan Hinton.
Like there's no chance Scott would want to coach, is he? Because I know he's doing a lot.
I think
No.
Pretty sure he's going to make
He's really
a couple
happy
more
with
dollars
slalom.
at slalom.
Like he started there while playing, so
Yeah.
I think that he's going to stay there. He's happy there. He gave no indication that he wants to coach at all.
Yeah. You know what? He's.
That'd be dreamy.
It's not to say that like his hours were awful as a professional athlete, but like I'm sure he's going to handle 8 to 5 or something and be happy about that. Like you didn't have to be
He's ready for that challenge.
Yeah,
that next step.
Anyway, all right. So talk a little bit about practice, about coaching, about Pineda.
We talked about Herc.
You talk about saying bye to some players. That
We didn't
was
talk
official.
about. We could talk about that, or we could talk about Luis Suarez.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Let's go
Okay,
straight to that.
I know it's funny. I know it's funny. I know the $14 million Benedetto money is not going to get Luis Suarez, but it was interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, one, Luis Suarez. It's funny. So a Spanish paper reported that Luis Suarez would be happy to be a Sounder, and you know what the entirety of their quotes were? The Nico Ladero quotes from 2 weeks ago.
Great.
They didn't have an original Luis Suarez
Right.
quote in there, even though they headlined it.
But
with,
that's how this works. So
no, normally when you say somebody says something, you have a quote.
I know
from
someone
that
who
person.
I know someone who did pro bono work for a certain someone who lives in Seattle who was accused of murder in another country. Who you all know who this person
yes.
is,
Right.
and he would tell me stories. He's a public relations person. He's like the crisis person in the city of Seattle.
Nice.
And I'm not telling anything that I shouldn't be talking about.
Yeah.
He said that he would literally get calls from newspapers in like the US or in other countries where they would pick up copy from an Italian paper that had picked up copy from like an American paper where this person's parents were quoted as saying something, and then they just changed the context all around. And it was something where they were like, oh yeah, this person's doing fine in prison. Or no, we hope she's doing fine right now. And then the Italian paper would say, she's doing fine right now. And then the American paper would quote the Italian paper as being like, we know for a fact that her parents said that she's doing fine right now. And he would be like, no one actually said that. Right? So that's unfortunate.
I would say that maybe 2/3 of the rumors that are out there, Sounder Heart doesn't actually talk about, because we don't want to perpetuate bullshit.
Right.
Yeah.
So forget whether it's Suarez or someone else. Okay, I'll never say never to anything anymore.
Not
Like
after
nothing,
Clinton.
nothing in the universe, nothing at all,
Yeah.
and not
Jake-
just because
Jake
of
said
like
you can't afford him. But
it's not even that
Yeah,
though.
they
Like
do.
I would never say never to
like, in a
anything
year or
right
two,
now.
might be, his price may go down too.
Anyway,
We're not gonna get him.
He is under contract till 2021, by the way.
Oh yeah. So
That's a year after Nikos Ladero is out of contract, maybe 2 years after Nico's
Yeah.
out of contract. So
but let's come back from Suarez. I do think obviously practice is tomorrow. There's other stuff we've all kind of randomly heard is happening. I do expect that the Dempsey no Dempsey thing would have a bearing on the Sounders doing something right now.
Absolutely.
No Dempsey, I could see them moving something. Dempsey or the possibility of Dempsey, even in the May June timeframe, and we won't see anything till the summer, like anything super notable.
Garth has said during the offseason that their next DP will depend on
Dempsey.
flat out, right?
Yeah.
But I would say like that's absolute right now. I just don't see. Let's just take that all the Benedetto stuff was true. It was either that. Let's just say that's true, but it was either that or they're not doing anything unless Dempsey's.
No, because I think the Kiyotaki and the Saudani rumors.
But do you think they're
valid.
now though?
Kiyotaki, I think, would be next year because paying for a transfer after a team just paid for a transfer,
Right.
within 6 months is bad.
Right.
Saudani is a free at the end of the year. Now, what's interesting is, let's say they need time to decide on Clint. They could wait till like May 10th, which is the final day of the transfer window, and he would miss Saudani would only miss 3 games with his Croatian side. So that's a way that you could get a guy on a free and wait late. This is one of those cases where waiting till the end of this transfer window, while it's not great for the salary cap, might make a ton of sense for the Sounders.
Right.
Because they can be a little bit more patient with the what's up with Clint's heart.
Right. But
which is huge.
at the end of the day, they can afford most things.
Yeah.
I'm not really worried about other random stuff because of the TAM and GAM and all that other crap. And
by the way,
they've shown that they're willing to throw their cards in.
Yep. The wallet.
and let's be honest, Luis Suarez has a big enough name that if MLS heard, if he was like, you know what, I'm kind of done with Barcelona and I'd love to come to Seattle, Major League Soccer would be like, okay.
I mean,
And the rest of the league would be like, well, I guess we got to give Seattle money to
but
make it happen.
I've joked with other people about
Because
this.
they've done that before.
If he shows up at any team, do you know how many jerseys they sell? And I actually had this conversation with Aaron Campo the other day, and he's like, he's the one player that I would genuinely be pissed off about and would do X. And I get that.
There were the
I have
racist
to tell
comments
you,
and there were multiple biting of the
I don't
arms.
think he hurts. It's not even the net out. I don't think he hurts any club. Forget the on the field.
Right.
Like from a marketing or whatever standpoint, one iota.
I don't even.
Grand scheme of things. People are going to be like, that guy's going to score 32 goals.
Oh my god. It's like,
I think it would just be silly. So, again, that's like the absurd thing.
Right.
But, we talked about Garth's comments on Deuce. Any predictions? Anybody think, let's say Dukes aside, do we see anything notable?
nah, man. I think because of how they ended last year with the championship, having kind of waited till the summer.
Yeah.
They
Seem
know
to
that
have
it
worked out okay.
It worked out okay. They might say we might want to do it on purpose just to see if we can double up. Unless it's a dramatic, like, Clint is done for sure. And
Messi is out.
yeah.
So, it's going to be fun. They're going to... they were connected to Diego Forlan.
I remember that.
Remember that?
Dude, Matt Oak would have flipped
all
his shit.
over it.
Oh,
They were
yeah.
connected to Thierry Henry back when it was Freddie Ljungberg that they got.
Shout out to Matt Oak's tattoo, by the way.
Oh my God!
Shout out to Herc for putting 20% of that cost. He's like, let's just spark this fire right now.
Nice.
Yeah, and it was Herc that...
I think I saw one design. Is that the only one that's out
You can
there?
go to Sound at Heart or Matt Oak's Twitter page. Either one will have it for you.
Someone should just register MattOaksTattoo.com.
By the way, I was the one that suggested the Sound at Heart headline, which is some idiot decided to get...
Perfect. Yeah. Anyway, so predictions for this window.
I don't think we'll get anybody.
Anything really of note?
I think this window they will add a designated player.
You do,
What?
and it's going to be a defender, right?
Well, we have 2 slots open now.
They have one DP slot open right
One?
now. They could open one DP slot
So
right
you
now.
are telling
You have
me-
Nico Ladero, Clint Dempsey, and
yeah.
Osvaldo Alonso right now.
Hello, math.
So you're telling
Alonso
me
they
that-
could buy down,
Right.
probably, or find a way to buy down, or whatever. So Garth has said we have one spot open, which is the Alonso flexibility, basically.
So you think DP?
I think they wind up adding one.
In the next 6 weeks, we will have one.
I didn't say the window closes May 10th.
Yeah.
Oh, never mind.
It's technically not open.
I
Yeah,
think
because it's
season.
our window.
Yeah.
Our window controls. It's the primary window, so it's open for 12 weeks, and
Oh my God! Now you got
you
me.
don't need a
You
guy.
got me like.
You can sign a guy now. He just can't play competitive matches. Good news. There's not a competitive match till March. So
Yeah. Wow.
Okay.
Any the guys you think it might be doable?
my personal hope, with a lot of bias due to my own background, is that it's Hilal El Arabi El Sudani, the Algerian
Right.
player that is currently in Croatia and just dominating there. I'm a little biased because I speak Arabic and I just love to be able to use my Arabic.
okay.
But I paid attention to him. Algeria's top two forwards are really good. They both play in the EPL. One was the African Player of the Year last year, and he won the title with Leicester City.
That guy was pretty good.
The other guy is his. They play in a two-forward system now
Oh,
in
I was
Leicester
reading
City.
about that guy.
They signed him away from Sporting CP. You might have heard of Sporting CP. He's the guy that forced Sporting to get rid of Freddie Montero, Slimini.
Wow.
So the two forwards for Leicester City are the two best forwards for Algeria.
Wow.
The third best forward for Algeria is Sadani, who is a right wing in either a three-forward set, solo forward in a one forward, or a right wing in a 4-2-3-1. That's kind of the type of player they want. They want that guy that can slide
Wow.
up and back.
So
You know, they're kind of like
optimism
Clint.
from Dave.
Clint,
I will take
Clint is up
either
and
of
back
those
in the center.
all day.
Jordan is up and back outside. Nico's across the band. So I expect that if Clint's healthy, they're going to look for one of those guys that plays wide, that can play up at times. If Clint's not healthy, they'll look for somebody who can drop back like a Freddie Montero.
Oh my. Oh my.
Mark, any thoughts?
That's my short list.
Dude,
Your
that
beer's tasty?
sounds sexy to me. What
This
about
is a
you,
good
Mark?
pick, actually.
Yeah, I'm pretty pleased with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. Well done.
Glad we went with the half liters though, because it would definitely get really warm.
Well, you also
Yeah.
have the third leaders earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But those were something different.
I missed that.
We got the end of the last
October.
the last two kegs of a specific Oktoberfest on the entire West Coast. So anyway, so couple players out the door, few players out the door.
Yeah, official.
Herc, obviously we talked about.
Herc just broke some news, by the way. The second piece
like
of news,
literally right
while
now?
we're on the air. No,
Is it
Tyrone
about
Mears
Landon
had already
Donovan?
hinted at it, but Atlanta United will be Tyrone Mears' new spot.
Officially.
Mears had said that Seattle and Atlanta were in negotiations about that. According to Herc, tweeting while we were on the air, Tyrone Mears, and that has basically worked itself out. Seattle and Atlanta have worked out their bits and pieces. Now it's just league approval.
So what is that? April? Is that when we see them? April? Atlanta?
I don't remember the schedule. Remember
It's a
we
Friday
talked
night.
about the schedule
It's the
last
Friday
week.
night.
Yeah.
April 10th,
Yeah, it's
something like
our-
that.
They're here.
Yeah.
They're going to have an extraordinary offense, and Tyrone Mears may be their best defender.
Which
Tyrone Mears
could
wasn't
mean
a
a
good
lot of
defender.
things or not a lot of things. Yeah. So Mears,
He's
we
not
got
gonna
some news
have-
on.
He's not going to
Uh,
have Brad Evans or Torres picking
Right.
up his mistakes.
Andreas Ivanchitz gone. Not really a surprise.
To the Czech Republic.
Yep.
Really?
Good for him. Definitely like that guy. You could definitely see that he was just going to be replaced and that they were going to do some different things. So
If you're a believer in Aaron Kovar, he offers a very similar skill set.
Right.
And he's 22.
right.
And he's free.
Yep.
So why spend $200,000 on the international slot when you can get the
You can get another one of those cryo machine things that they're all spending their time in.
This app is garbage.
That's a whole nother discussion, though. Anything else on the outgoing players we all want to talk about? We've been sort of talking about it for a couple of weeks now.
S2 earlier, didn't you?
Yeah, S2 cleaned house again.
Yeah.
They either have 3 or 6 people under
I
contract
mean,
right
not
now.
really surprised.
I'm just glad they kept at least Lorenzo.
They did sign from the academy Lorenzo Ramos,
Yeah.
who had been playing up for the past year or two.
Yeah.
And that's a good move for him.
He had an amazing
School wasn't
goal
his
last
thing.
year,
He had a
dude,
great
like
goal.
30 yards out.
He plays in the center, but not very defensively.
Yeah.
So he is more kind of like when Eric Freeberg, remember a few times when he played as that central mid in that band of three? That's kind of what Lorenzo Ramos can do.
Okay. I'm rooting for that
doesn't
kid.
have
I'm rooting
great
for
passing
everybody,
vision, but he's a local guy. He will work hard.
Yeah, man.
19 now, signed direct to USL. He's the third Academy product on a USL deal. So it's going to be fun to see him.
Lorenzo, échale ganas.
I don't know what that means.
It means keep fighting, man. Yeah.
So that's fun. And then they've got dude I've never heard of as a winger, and then Carlos Irwin Parra, who signed
Wasn't he with
from
Kitsap?
Kaiserslautern.
Or did he come with another team, the Kitsap?
That they signed it with like 2 months left. So those are the 3 under contract, and there's 3 S2 players that might earn S2 or first team deals. Nuhu Tolo, Zach Mathers, and Jordy Dellum.
Wait, Mathers is not?
Mathers is currently not under contract, but it has the opportunity to earn a deal again. So that's your S2 update.
Okay. That is a good update. Christian Roldan is upset that Stefan Fry made a better tuna salad than him. Off-season antics.
Oh, I like that.
Hashtag alternative tuna.
Alt tuna?
Alt tuna. So, anyways, we'll talk a little bit about S2.
That'd be an interesting band.
Alt tuna?
Let's talk about, I mean, it's just sort of this week, but it's kind of last week. I don't know, whatever.
Would that
CCL.
Yeah.
I got a
Big changes in CCL. So
was, man.
I got a
we
really
will
bad
not,
joke.
Oh, you're going to tell a joke on the air?
No, about alt tuna.
Okay.
Would that be like a
Just
cover
tell the joke.
A cover band for Real Big Fish?
All Tuna is my Real Big Fish cover band.
I am out.
That was well done, Mark. First time in a long time.
So let's talk about CCL.
Yeah, man. Big news, dude.
So big news. So
Yeah.
we will not be playing in any CCL or Champions Cup or whatever we're calling portions of the
Neither
tournament.
phase 1 nor phase 2.
Nor phase 2
This is really
until
backlash.
2018. So you know what that means?
Save those miles.
So
Yeah.
so those
Your 2
Dylan-
bonus tickets.
Dylan was really upset about that today. He was talking about no minnows, no Trinidad and Tobago trips.
No,
Well, not
Is
in
there
the
a
near
team from
future.
Jamaica? Do they have a league? Like,
yeah.
they do?
Jamaica Portmore United is probably the one
Ooh.
that you remember being in CCL a few times.
So I think I had gotten a heads up on some of this. It's
All
still,
over there.
as you can tell, being
Like,
worked out a
let's
little
go.
bit.
Yeah.
Let's go.
So like the teams from 16 are gonna play in that have the guaranteeds are gonna go into the 18
16
February whatever the
Team in
16,
18.
but the 17 teams
They don't know what they're doing yet.
they don't know what to do yet, and I had heard that there may be something where it's either that like the 17 teams and the 18 teams then like somehow have to be winnowed through to play in the 19, or they're gonna change. There's gonna
Format
be one
again.
ugly year,
Well,
and then
they're
they'll
already-
figure it out.
There could wind up being one ugly year like this one where the Sounders aren't playing this year.
Right.
But we've already paid for tickets. Or there could be 2 ugly years, or there could be 1.5 ugly years.
We don't know.
It's
This
gonna be
is
ugly.
so
one.
CONCACAF.
But it's literally the most.
It is
It's
super
actually the most
CONCACAF.
CONCACAF thing ever.
Yes.
No,
Yeah.
The most extreme CONCACAF thing.
Oddly
ever.
enough, as we talk about Trump, Russia did this weird thing once where their league switched from being a summer league to being a winter league.
Yeah.
Except the Russian winter's so awful, they had to insert a 3-month off period. So when, the year they
So
did
they
the
were a fall
switch,
spring league.
So it was basically the same
Yeah, pretty
with
much
a
the
break.
same.
they basically just changed where their short break was by a couple
Ruskies or
weeks, and that's
Ruskies
it.
or
But
what-
it basically it led to
Ruskies.
one season being a year and a half long.
Wow.
And so, like a champion, like normally they do just a home and away, and then they had to figure out, like, well, who gets the extra home games? Who gets the extra away games? And all the teams in Moscow basically got the extra home games.
I hope that the people that come up with how CONCACAF handles this are also the people that handle
Copa America.
the World Cup in Qatar and how what season we're gonna play during, because no one will know. Maybe they'll play half the World Cup
they
now and
authorized
half
late
of it
November.
then.
Is it really?
Well, yeah, but then all those people wound up in jail, so it might need to be reauthorized.
England is literally like, fuck you guys. No. Yes. Thank you.
Oh, hey.
No, I'm good.
Look.
Thank you.
What?
So that
You got through your beer.
that's our
Fuck
that's
you.
our CCL talk. Where
That's pretty much all we know.
Yeah.
So we know
the
that our
Sounders
two
could do
matches-
a pretty cool thing. They've,
Yes. What's
that?
They've hinted at it once before, where one of the tickets, if 1 year they said if we don't make the CCL, your extra ticket will be used for a playoff game, and if we don't make that either, it'll just be used to the next year. They make the playoffs every. I mean, they made the playoffs in 2016.
I'll take it as a playoff game.
If they're going to make it in 2016, they're going to make it every year.
Yeah.
So they could wind up saying one friendly and the playoffs. And that'd be okay.
Knock on wood.
If we
Stop
get two
knocking
friendlies,
on the
I will
table.
riot.
Yeah,
I think
Jake.
we're going to have. I have inside information, but I think we're going to have a slightly different take on the friendly. I truly hope it'll be one, and then the other one goes to playoffs or something else.
If there's more than one Sounders friendly, I will be mad.
I
they do
think we
something
may
where-
have a non-Sounders friendly.
Oh.
But we have two bonus tickets, so we might wind up with
Right.
a non-Sounders friendly and a Sounders friendly.
I mean, let's just be clear.
Like,
Pick a country that has a decent ethnic group within the United States, and then pick another one that may or may not also have it. But it doesn't even have to be that. Like, it doesn't have to be
Netherlands.
Mexico. But you could, like, if you had like Costa Rica,
PSV,
Japan.
PSV.
I'd go to that.
Mexico and Japan.
Oh my God, Mexico, Japan.
You just
would
want some
be
ethnic
bonkers.
You want to upgrade that ethnic pandering all over the place? Just do Mexico
Insane.
and Japan.
But my gut is we'll see
won-
something. I mean,
won last
we had heard last year they were looking at options like that. My gut is they're trying really hard to do that.
Not playing that well, though.
So we'll see.
Are you talking to us, Hugo?
Yeah. So
Jake, sorry.
Maybe they'll give us all Gold Cup tickets in some other city.
Oh my.
speaking of, there might still be a World Cup qualifier here.
Right.
Well, yeah, aren't they playing it? Not here. Are you saying here?
They haven't announced all the World Cup
Yeah,
qualifiers
they're not all done yet.
They really enjoyed the World Cup qualifier that was here in the past. That Panama game.
Yeah.
I mean, one, Eddie Johnson scored while he was a Sounder, and it was like the cement of the
Bonkers.
comeback story.
Bonkers.
And that's where Clint Dempsey went from, I have no idea what Seattle is in soccer to...
Sign me up.
Yes.
And then, like,
Yeah.
8 months later, he's like, I want to go back to MLS. Well, LA, obviously. Toronto is pretty big. Seattle did well. I mean, that was basically the game that convinced him that Seattle should be on a short list.
And then Matt Oakes sat in an
LFG.
airport.
Not just
LFG.
Matt, a lot of people.
a
But-
number of
so,
people.
U.S. soccer really, really likes it here.
I don't.
So-
do you really believe that, man? Because I don't. I mean, I would think they would have a ton more games here. We're far away north or away from.
There are certain issues about travel for their own players, because if you have it on a single game weekend, they got rid of most single game weekends in the FIFA calendar. Now they're all 5-day windows with 2 games. But back when it was a single game weekend, there was no way they were going to come to Seattle from Europe.
Right.
So
Any chance we'll ever see, Mexico, U.S.?
no.
No.
Although you broke the spell over in
How do
Columbus.
you like them apples?
Loved it.
Oh, he's gonna say something about 7.
Brendan wants China versus Canada.
I think we had a China versus Canada
We
here
had
in the
China
past.
versus Mexico.
Oh, and Canada versus like El Salvador or something like that.
We
They
had
did
two-
it
two
friendly.
times Mexico
Yeah.
has come, China and Canada.
Yeah, I would not like that.
No,
But-
I had.
I
It
think we
looked
played
like I had
China
a
in
hickey.
07 or 08. And then
Yeah.
we played Canada.
So there's some
wasn't actually there,
interesting
though.
friendly stuff that they could do that involves national teams or something like that. There's that International Champions Cup,
Right.
which doesn't actually invite champions.
But
if it was two of the if
I know people that paid a lot of money to see Manchester United last year playing LA, right? So
That's sad.
2 years ago, I guess that was.
if something like a Madrid versus a Bayern comes through and we already have tickets to it, I would be satisfied with that.
Mark would actually go.
He was giggly, and I have an anti-friendly policy and haven't been to one in a very long
Unless
time.
I was
so-
in Chilean, because
But I would be very intrigued by something like that. So,
So-
there's some fun stuff that, the change to the CCL might empower them to do fun stuff now that, because I know the original plan was, well, one of those tickets is a CCL ticket. Then it changed.
Yeah.
So now they can do some really fun stuff, and I hope they explore that fun aspect.
Yeah.
And do something different.
I hope so. I mean, I do genuinely think they're listening and heard it pretty loud and clear, both in person and in the stadium. Yeah. So I'm hoping that changed. So a few other things to talk about. We talked briefly before we started the show, kind of MLS women fans.
Yeah. So
Is that an MLS account?
no. It's a fan account. MLS female. It's a website.
But I saw they also do NFL female and NBA or other.
It's basically an outreach program that wants to empower women who are sports fans to write about their team.
LFC.
My very good friends at Kirsten, damn it. Am I gonna have to look it up?
Look it up. But I'm a fan of this, by the way. I think that's dope.
Unusual Efforts is a almost all female writing staff and editorial and whatnot. Unusual Efforts, they write about everything. They pitch and they pay. Former Sounder at Heart writer Kirsten Schleiwitz, who used to write for 7500 to Hold, Unusual Efforts, and SB Nation, and several other places, founded it with some very good, very brilliant people. So Unusual Efforts is an all-female writing staff. They're great, but MLS Female is basically just focused on MLS action. Friend of the show, Sheba, is their Portland reporter.
Excellent.
Who?
The person who's going to bid against you at the next SonarFeed to run my website.
Yeah.
Who?
No.
So
Tienes oportunidad.
it's gonna be a follow. So go to MLS Female on your Twitter and follow it. It's a good way to empower new voices, and it'll be fun. It'll give new people opportunities.
So is that who's behind it completely, or is it?
Those are two organizations with the same theory, not working
They're
together.
not necessarily working together. Okay.
I just wanted to give a shout out to my good friends at Unusual
That's
Efforts.
fair.
But MLS Female is a different thing. They're narrowly focused on the American sports audience.
Right.
And
NASCAR
similar
and
ways
NFL.
Following Unusual Efforts.
Yeah. Similar ways to, MLS Female is very similar in ways to SB Nation's founding purpose, which is like, they're going to have really good content, but in their case, it's going to be all women. So I'm excited.
Me too.
Because I want more voices.
Me too.
More
Speaking
people
of
can teach
voices
me.
and things, like last kind of thing to talk about, sort of week or weeks behind, as we go into a new season. I know it really didn't get the airtime that I thought it deserved at the end of season business meeting.
Right.
That was like a 2015 topic, was like what Sounders are doing, with and in the Latino community.
Yeah.
So Hugo, not to put you on the spot, but like any traction
totally on
you've
the spot.
seen or
Yeah, man. I think there was. There had been in years prior to the Joe debacle, there had been outreach. They've been to La Copita 2 times, if not 3. Let's see. Freddie was there. Gonzalo Pineda was there.
Herc was there.
That was this last.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, this one. But then, oh my God, I can't think of his name right now. That's horrible. Anyhow, they've had support at our events.
Wasn't Estrada there one year?
That's who it was. Estrada. Yes.
I was thinking back.
Yes.
Today he's modeling for Adidas.
Really?
Like, he came
Again?
up and like on an Adidas feed for a sale, and I turned around and was like, "That's David Estrada."
Interesting.
it feels
Estrada modeling.
Fan of the show here at the Berliner Pub. By the way, you can come here on any Monday night. You
Yes.
come to the Berliner Pub,
Every Monday
downtown
night.
Renton, on just off of Main and 3rd. But Sean brings up that David Estrada is currently one of Adidas models.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Estrada,
Yeah.
by the way, is still playing pro
to know.
soccer over in the Carolina, I believe, Carolina Independence.
Nice. No, but just to answer your question, I think that this last season they made progress. They set up an agreement with El Rey 1360 AM, and they are the official Spanish radio station of the Sounders. They do a 30-minute segment on only Sounders every Saturday. I was a part of it for a lot of it throughout the season. They also do Spanish radio broadcasts for every game, home and away. They did a few games in Spanish on Univision, the local channel.
Univision Seattle, which
Seattle.
is 4.2. It's a
I-
digital-only
Is it
station,
41?
also known as This
TV.
TV.
KUNS.
KUNS. They
Yeah.
did like 10 games this year for local Spanish over the air, which is
Is it 41 or 51?
I think it's 51.
Something?
At
Yeah, 51.
least for DirecTV that I
Anyway,
had at the
KUNS
time.
though.
So they did that,
Yeah.
and at La Copita, they probably had the biggest support for that event that we've done with Barra.
Which is great.
Yeah, they helped us with the sound. They brought in the Octagon, the street team. They were there all day,
Yeah.
promoting it. And then Herc shows up and shows the winning team on the Snapchat account, the team's account, which is great. Definitely a big, huge fan of bringing Pineda onto the coaching
Right.
staff. I think that's a huge move. I'm obviously a big fan, probably his biggest fan.
But that's the thing too, like where it's not that Univision or ESPN Deportes would never interview someone in English before and just translate it or subtitle it or whatever. But like at the end of the day, now ESPN Deportes, like the international version, might interview Gonzalo Pineda randomly.
Yes.
So now you have like Sounders play that we would literally never have gotten before, except maybe for player pickup. But you have a coaching staff person, and he knows the media. They know he's super good on the air. He's a great interview, let alone a great interviewer.
I remember seeing the faces on Osvaldo Alonso and Alvaro Fernandez when my good buddy Hugo.
Yeah.
They were like, Sounder Hart's going to talk to you. And they were like,
Oh, okay, yeah.
And they were like, Alvaro was like, translator? No, all in Spanish.
Yeah.
And
Yes, yeah.
He-
to
like,
win that again this year.
he glowed. So
There's still, I think, a lot more that can be done, for sure. And it could be little things, like more announcements in Spanish. And I want to say without bias, obviously I do some Spanish announcements
Right.
for S2, but I think that would be the huge, something that may not be too hard to do, that would make a huge impact for people to hear announcements in Spanish. Even if it's just
I thought that was
welcome
fun.
and come back.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to
Yeah.
be. It doesn't have to be the goal.
It does. You're right. It is open and close
Yeah.
even, and
Even
people
if
would
it's just
notice
welcome.
it.
Yeah. Oh, totally.
It feels. My challenge with it, kind of from the outside, but like I have inside information. I speak Spanish. Like I know what's going on. I know you. I'm a Barra subgroup member. I care about this. It feels sometimes still like transactional, like let's do that,
Yeah.
as opposed to like,
right.
well, that's what we're doing.
Yeah, and I think that
that's my struggle with it.
Yeah, me too, man. Trust me. There's
And it's not really being critical because
no,
a
not at
lot
all.
of places work that way.
Yes.
It just, to me, it feels like it needs to be baked in, and maybe something like a Pineda helps do that.
Yeah, dude, like do a episode, and that's exactly why I'm excited about Pineda, because now they're gonna have that guy who's perfect for it. I mean, they're gonna be able to do episodes on their podcast in Spanish that they do.
Right.
The radio interviews that they send players to do more often. They'll he'll be able to do them in Spanish. It could be simple things like doing the website, even if it's not the whole website in Spanish, but at least certain stories will be in Spanish. I mean,
Unlike certain government websites.
right, exactly. Casablanca.
There was major IT work going on.
Oh, huge.
Huge.
But no, but I think that will make a grande impact. I don't want to say huge, but you know what I mean, like huge impact.
One thing I would say, and I enjoy when you did in stadium, and this is maybe very selfish of me, is as much as I want to hear more of that in the stadium, damn it means we don't have you in the section.
Yeah, it
But-
doesn't have to be me, but but I agree. I know what you're saying. I love you. Thank you.
I got you, boo.
The other one would be, Spanish on the website and on certain stories, the podcast. I don't know, things like that. I honestly don't read a lot of the Spanish websites. I
do
do
we have
here
a
and there.
Spanish Sounders Twitter?
I read English first, but I can read Spanish, and I do when I want to
Sounders.
check out what's
I
going
don't
on.
think so. There's not a Sounders Twitter in Spanish officially, right?
No, not a
See, and I
Sounders.
think that's a
The
major
Mariners have
misstep.
one. The Mariners have
Yeah,
one.
I know
It's
the
a
Mariners
great
do, and they're
account.
fantastic
Seahawks
with it.
do not have one, which I think it's a fail.
That is
to do.
actually a little bit of a miss.
yeah, both of those
but-
organizations make
a lot more. No,
Hundreds
but the
of millions
Seahawks
of dollars
don't,
more
and
than-
they make a
right.
ton more money. And the Seahawks don't have one. The damn Patriots have one in Spanish. It pisses me off. I'm like,
No
come on.
comment.
'Cause I
Right.
do not like that team at all.
Donald
Anyhow,
Trump is going to shut that down.
I think if they do whatever, they do a great job with their social media. If they just do parts of it, not all of it, just parts of it in Spanish, I think it'd make a big impact.
As long as they get the enye right.
Yeah, no, dude, the weirdest thing ever. So my English keyboard has the ñ, but
yeah,
the
if you hold
Spanish
it
does
down.
not.
What? If you hold down the
No,
N.
I hold it.
Seriously?
In the Spanish.
Yeah.
It's a Mexican Spanish keyboard, and it only does an accent on the N. It doesn't know the.
That's
ñ.
weird.
Dude, I know. I'm like.
Thanks, Steve Jobs.
Yeah. No, but they definitely. I think
You just hated on a dead person.
I want to give
Whatever.
props
Not
to
the first time.
team
Not the
because
first
they did make it an emphasis on the year. I just want to make sure it doesn't fall off.
Yeah.
And they continue to build on it and make things.
I think that's important. I think the challenge now is it shouldn't be that like pressure is exerted on them to do something. Like I just want to see them keep going, But it's good to hear an update. So thank you for that.
Yeah,
I know I totally threw that at you without
it's all good.
any
I love
warning.
I love it. Let me tell you.
We're aware of what time it is, Mark. I know you're
No,
looking.
I got a message from Dave. Everything's working good on my end.
Okay, good. It might just be my computer.
Yeah, I'm still
So a
green.
little bit. Anything else on
Yeah, mine is
the
too,
week
yeah.
past? Anything else you want to
Just
talk about from
refresh
last
it.
week before we get into what's coming up next?
I'm down.
I would just say if you have the opportunity, go to an Academy game. You're going to be one of like
where are the
8
academies?
fans. They're at Starfire. They were just there this last weekend.
Where can you see the
first
schedule?
one
Is
after
it
the
on
winter?
Sounders websites.
It is currently not. You can go to just search Sounders Academy schedule, and you'll go to a website run by U.S. Soccer, and you can find it. There weren't a lot of fans there. That's not really a surprise. Jesse was there. Shout out to Jesse. Me and Brendan went there, but you can see kind of the future and what they're developing. Like half of that U18 roster has S2 games, and over time you're going to see, maybe half of those will be getting first team deals.
Which is great.
Three of them just got national team call-ups. So just, shout out to the future.
Hashtag the future.
It is, man.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, damn, we need to get Kyle back here.
Shoe Kyle.
Yeah.
Shoe Kyle.
Let's get it,
We
man.
have not seen that brother
Come
in
on,
a while.
bro.
It's because he
was there.
working.
I saw him.
He was
Well,
of course.
well, I only did a half of the 16s because honestly I'd
So
already
you did
spent
an 8?
3.5 hours.
He has some great ideas for S2, man. I chatted with him briefly, exchanged some ideas. He provided
I'm
the
gonna
ideas.
send myself home.
And it's exciting, man. With the season
So-
coming up, man. Things are happening. Let's go.
Cool.
So the
Anything else from
quick
last
little
week?
detour last week, yeah.
Yeah.
So let's talk about what's coming up next. This week we talked about first practice ad infinitum. YachtCon coming soon.
Did you guys see the trailer from Levy Films?
Did indeed. It's actually really good with no sound as well.
Yeah.
So here's the YachtCon aspect of that. They're going to do an extended trailer exclusive to YachtCon, and Scott is going to host a little Q&A about it.
Excellent.
Beautiful.
So
What?
there's a new reason to go to YachtCon.
I was really
As
happy
if there
about
weren't enough
the
reasons.
voiceover quotes that he put in of the interview he did with
Hey,
me.
you're one of them.
Yeah, but on the camera, I was like, wow, I was sick that day, and it shows. Awesome.
I hate the way I look on camera.
Shoulda
man.
worn a
I ain't gonna
hat.
lie.
Well, so that was post MLS Cup, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so we've all been sick for like 2
Yeah.
months now. So
Yeah, pretty much.
So, yeah, YachtCon's going to be kick-ass again.
No, it was
Queen Anne Beer
before
Hall.
MLS Cup.
There's room for 400 of you.
I don't remember.
400.
Money is
Will
going
it
to an
sell out?
extraordinary
The days
cost.
just run
Probably
together.
close, yeah.
It's so close to sell out. Oh,
It-
shit.
I would expect, like,
get your
Beth and I went to
ticket.
Constellation & Co. today to get
yeah.
our tickets, and then realized that Constellation & Co. was closed when we got there.
it's a Monday.
Yeah, it's Monday. Whatever.
Have you heard of the internet?
Yeah.
No, you want the real ticket because that's
That's
kick-ass
why we
looking
were
souvenir.
going. I told
And
her
you
she
pay a
should
little bit
tweet,
less.
how about Constellation and
But you pick it up
no.
at Constellation?
So yeah, you can pick
But
them
she
up at
was like,
Constellation
"That's not
Company if you want
nice."
the physical ticket. It's going to be $5
Sorry,
there.
Sarah.
You put brown paper tickets.
It's like
Pay,
$6.72.
pay their little service fee. I mean, it's a tinier service fee than
Yeah.
that other people.
Then Ticket Bastard.
Or
I'll call 'em out.
it's $7 at the door. So
What are we doing
Everybody's
about
a VIP,
the
so-
sparkling rosé
I'll
You know,
have at least one of them there
that
for
we
you.
drank all
that
of
what they have
last
there
year?
now?
Yeah,
That was
I don't know the
really good.
I don't know if there's going to be wine choices there. I do know Queen Anne Beer Hall is going to have a very similar beer list.
No, that was last year.
To what our good friends here at the Berliner Pub have. Because
Shout out to the Berliner.
both of them are.
So what is the
20
like drinking
2015,
situation?
sir?
Whatever.
I mean, Full
That's
Pull
after
is
the
still
season, though.
Full Pull is still a presenting sponsor, so
Okay.
they'll be there. I just don't know the capacity. There will be important people from both of the highest level pro clubs in the area, both the Reign and the Sounders will
Excellent.
be there. There was it's going to be a player recorded interview there.
Do you want to give time and dates? We didn't do that. You wanna do
for
that?
YachtCon?
Yeah.
February 12th.
Yep.
Just go all day. That's me admitting I don't remember. You can go to Sounder Heart, scroll down barely. You can see the advertisement for YachtCon. You can go to the Sounder Heart YouTube page, and you can see the commercial that they cut for the YachtCon 2, which is basically a playoff of the Love Boat.
Is Isaac going to be there?
No.
You're just going to let that one go, aren't you? Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
That's a letdown.
Like 4 people got that joke.
But there's some pretty cool stuff that they've done. Our video guy, Jose, has created some interesting video. We've got...
Man. Dude, if he would go there in person,
We're
I'd go
stocked
just
up.
To see him,
So
meet him in
we're
person.
stocked up. They're going to put on a kick-ass show. It's my favorite Sounder Heart event of any year because it's the one where I just get to sit in the background and watch.
Nice.
If they need to kill 5 minutes, they might talk to me for a bit, but that'd be it.
Can we ask Adrian about firing
Ross
Ross Fletcher?
Yo, can we ask?
Now, the problem was we were like 3/4 of the way through the season. It was a total disaster. I still don't like Keith Costigan. And I was like, man, this is going to be great. We're going to get to talk. And he was like, trust us. And then they won MLS Cup.
James
Shit.
Woolard.
Now I can't say
Now
anything
what?
mean.
James Woolard does the voice for the intro video that was
Nice.
recorded.
That's why I was like, the YachtCon.
Yes, they rewrote the lyrics for. But yeah,
That's
it's
going to
pretty
be
awesome.
If you ever
amazing.
want to do anything in Spanish, man, I'd love to do some stuff there.
I'm excited.
Can we ask him about the turf?
Just saying, forgot
No.
to mention this when you asked me about
No.
outreach to the Latino community. I forgot to mention that they really need to do exactly what they have done with our boys, everybody, Torres, Nico, but to the Spanish-speaking community. Because
Okay.
it's not the same.
Yeah.
It's not the same.
Okay. That's good.
Basically highlight all those players that we see dancing in Spanish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, the other thing I think we wanted to talk about, other than YachtCon, which I'm super excited about, is the FIFA tournament.
Let's go.
So, we're not going to announce a date right now. We think we know what it is, and it's a great date. So, it's going to work out really well.
And we have two,
It's the best date.
and
It's
we
the
just-
best date.
Best date.
It's the best date. There will be so many
the
people.
biggest of
It'll be
dates.
the most widely attended and viewed FIFA tournament across the world.
Ever.
Ever.
Infinity.
Period. No, seriously. We do have what we think is the final date. I don't know if we're going to wait till the next show to announce it or we'll do it this week.
Yeah.
But I think we're pretty close.
Yeah, really close.
Follow at SonarFeed on
two
Twitter for all of your
huge-
SonarFeed
So
FIFA tournament
we
knowledge.
didn't do this just because I think it was just a crazy pre-show without Ugo and other things. But while you're all here and as we're kind of coming to the close, huge shout out to Aaron, who I don't know if he's watching. He's at home, not feeling so great.
On his
And it's his birthday.
Yo, man.
Yeah, we didn't have German chocolate cake
Happy
shots this week.
birthday
Can we
to
anyways?
you.
You gotta sing.
Happy birthday to you.
Guess who's not listening?
Happy birthday, dear Aaron.
Who are you pointing at?
Happy birthday to you.
He'll watch
Go
it eventually.
watch it. Yeah.
So anyway, seriously,
I'm repping the
shout out to Aaron.
sandals. Shout out to the birthday guy.
I hope
Love
you're
you,
doing
man.
all right, and we will hopefully see you next week.
Yeah.
And happy birthday.
And big announcements. Because we got big announcements, man.
We got
I
stuff.
don't want to say who,
We
but
got stuff.
2 big names got confirmed. And it's like,
Guys, Jake from DM is going to be there.
yo, you guys heard it here first.
And Sean. Wise.
Burn. Let's go.
Sean Wise is probably going to try and outbid
Yeah, that was a good
me
one.
on shit like last year.
Well, that should be pretty easy this year.
It's going to be real easy. Tom's not betting on anything in 2017.
That's because
I hope you're able to bid on a lot of stuff. That would
So
be good
anyway,
news.
so
Well,
that
that
should
would-
be
yes.
that should be coming up soon. As far as that announcement in the next week or so. So, anything else random we want to talk about? I know Ugo, you had some things. Dave, I think, has some things.
when in doubt, punch a Nazi.
For real though. For real. Maybe one of the better. We got 3 memes in 3 days. 2 days.
Yo.
Like we got Spicer facts, alternative facts, and punching Nazi remix videos. And like the best part about that, I'm not going to get in an argument about like violence or whatever right now. There are people I've seen, like random celebrities or politicians or former politicians or like heads of companies that are retweeting really random music remixes of someone getting cold cocked on the street.
Oh my God.
And that's
Ian.
maybe like you thought that other stuff was weird.
Yeah, 16th Doc.
That's the weirdest thing in a while.
Ian, the 16th doc, was up probably till like
Amazing.
3 a.m. doing them, and he did for me the my 311, one of my favorite 311 songs, which is "Guns Are for Pussies."
It is a fun song.
And when you punch a dude, you're really proving that guns are for pussies because you just punched a dude.
I should have Ian do one to a Dave Matthews
I
song.
had the longest
Wow.
Facebook thread.
What's
in
that
the
song you
history
all
of
sing, by the
Facebook,
way?
yo.
Half the time when you're at
Right?
Half the
Here?
time.
Right?
rich girl.
I left to go watch a movie and came
I've
back.
got a tweet right now.
Strong. It lasted 4
So-
So SonarFeed account. Can you do punch?
So we've got
Nazis
about
for
10
real?
minutes ish. I know we started a little bit late, but few things we want to make sure we tap into. Ugo, I'm just going to combine some of your things, and Aaron had some funny things that we were going to talk about.
We'll talk about Aaron's things when Aaron gets here.
Yeah.
Get
I'm not
back
angry.
here.
I'm just angry.
I really do think the favorite Trump moment of the week is such a good idea. But let's talk about Saturday. So, like truly politics aside,
You marched.
I did march.
March.
Marched.
I marched with my parents, which was awesome.
Oh, respect, love.
Ugo tried texting from.
Yeah. Junction Spark. And I was not working
You were at the
for an hour.
and yeah.
My phone would not connect.
Dude, I could have told you that was going to happen because it didn't work at the Sounders March, let alone remember the Seahawks March. You know, if it doesn't work, if you can't get a phone signal for the Sounders March, you're not going to get one for one of the biggest marches in the history of the city.
I was, well, let's say pleasantly surprised. Forget the police didn't arrest anyone. Forget that for a second. The scale was just crazy to me.
It was ridiculous.
And like talking to friends in other cities and then seeing like people I know who are big work travelers and they're like, oh, I'm in London marching. You're like, what?
Antarctica.
Yeah.
Jake from GM says that Des Moines, Iowa had 4% of their population show up for the march. There was a small town, like Twisp. Where like
Yeah,
600 people showed
600
up
of
and they
the
only had
900 people in the
Yeah.
town. Now, again, half those people could have been from somewhere else, but even so.
Yeah, they were from the other town outside where 50 people live. I
Right,
mean,
but-
it's not
but
a
really,
highly
like,
populated area.
Politics aside, truly just a really interesting kind of neat thing to see in your life,
Oh, yeah.
like as
That's
the
huge.
world goes.
Yeah.
And I think seeing where it was outside of the U.S. was
Dude,
just
Antarctica.
fascinating to me to
Alaska,
see. Like
-15?
I can't remember
that's
seeing
respect.
anything. There are like moments where like, but the internet was different, like Hands Across America or
Yeah.
like the AIDS
There've
quilt
been
and
some
like
pretty
things that were big
big
moments
moments.
Right.
in the country or in the world that like stand out, and like 20 years from now I will remember them. This is absolutely one, and I've
question.
marched for stuff before, and I don't remember it.
Well, you remember things like you're big on numbers, particularly popularity, approved, disapproved.
Yeah.
Remember how popular the Iraq War was? Not very popular. It had a pretty large movement against it.
Yeah.
There were
There were
They
big,
got dwarfed.
there were big marches.
But one thing that I looked up, I decided to look this up, is the approval rate for the Iraq War. More people were fans of the Iraq War than they are of the current president. And the approved.
But it's,
Who was I looking
it's
at?
just day
Public
3,
policy
man. Don't
polling?
worry.
Damn
It's just
coastal
day
elite bias.
No, Rasmussen.
Coastal elites, yo.
3. Yeah.
So,
for
anyway,
me, dude, it
but,
was
but
a
seriously,
huge-
like
We're doing that thing in
talk
SonarFeed
enough-
where we talk about politics.
Yeah.
We'll
no.
talk enough.
Everybody tunes
That's
out.
gonna happen. But
Sorry, guys, but
politics aside, it was a neat thing to see
Historical.
Seattle and Portland and New York and BC and Austin and
Yes.
and
Yes.
Anchorage.
come out and do
15
Antarctica
below.
Yep, that's
come
what
out and do
James-
stuff, and it was
James
just
just
it
said
was
that.
cool to see. And again, whether you love or hate any political candidate or party or whatever, it's neat to see people like give a shit enough
Yeah,
about
yeah.
something to like not take an hour out of their day, take 6 hours out of their day.
Seriously, dude.
Because the people who were there at 9:30, you were done at like 3.
Yeah.
So
I came in
like
at
that's
10:30, so I
that's
was
a
in at
legit
4.
commitment. It's a big party. Like it's your
Yeah.
weekend and so on. It was just cool to see, you know, from a humanity
Totally.
perspective.
Historical. World historical. I agree.
So you had a couple things, Ugo.
Yeah, man. I was just giving you guys, some of you watch my hijinks and getting that American Girl doll for my niece, Josefina. Spending a lot of time reading her to her. Been having a lot of fun with that.
She like it?
I like it. I love
No,
it.
did she like it?
She loves it, dude. She was like so hyped that
I don't really care if you play with dolls well. I want to know if
Well,
Josephina plays with dolls
she
well.
plays with her doll, but she is like obsessed. You know, she wrote a sticky note and put it in the front door of her of my sister-in-law's house, so that she would remember to pick it up and bring it with her when she went to pick her up from school, so that she could play with her as soon as she got picked up from school. It's great, dude. It's adorable. It's the best. Really, really appreciated how much reading to her at night, how good it makes me feel, man, and how good that whole is reading now, dude. Yeah, before I was like, oh, it's just reading. I wouldn't do it as often, and now that I'm doing this,
We're making schnitzel over there.
It's
Like
huge.
Seriously, they're tenderizing
yeah,
everything
burgers.
in the back of the Berliner right now.
Yeah, got that going. Got a little special night coming up for me here. I'm gonna go on a date this week. That should be
Date
fun.
night?
Oh.
Tuesday?
Yeah,
Tuesday
yeah.
date night?
Taco Tuesday. Let's go.
Where are you going? Are you going to Asadero, Sinaloa?
Nope. I'm going somewhere that is proficient.
There's a
in-
joke here I'm
in
not going to
fish,
make.
tacos. I'll tell you guys all about it next week.
So you're not going to tell us where you're going, so we don't all
Not
show
until
up,
next
right?
week. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
That's Ugo is actually serious. He's like,
I'm gonna do Find My Friends.
that's so bad. Anyway, so date night for Ugo.
Yeah, I'm excited.
That's super fun.
Yeah.
We talked about Latino players and coaches and things. Anything else? 5 things, interesting things.
Okay, I need y'all to go search for hashtag hire Dave Clark and retweet the last 2 things you see on that. Just do that for me. There are 10 of you.
Hire Dave
Like
Clark.
right now.
Yeah, just
Hashtag-
retweet it.
Hashtag
Hire
hire
Dave Clark.
Dave.
SonarFeed's already retweeted
How do you
it.
spell
So,
Clark?
so there was that, and then Punch Nazis. I think I only really had 2 things.
Last
Oh.
2 things that you posted?
No, I don't even know what the last 2 things.
There's
One,
no other option. These 2.
yeah, sure.
Okay.
That one's good. No, not that one.
Not that one. Oh yeah, sorry.
Anyway.
I'm like, you can
The
find them.
internet just got broken. All right, so let's get Dave a job.
Let's get Tom a job.
Also,
Well, we're going to work on hire Tom Bureau too.
Let's get Aaron a job.
Tom unfortunately isn't going for jobs where a hashtag mayor could make the difference.
Would it be okay if I
could
retweet
work.
all of them?
Sure.
Ugo's breaking Twitter right now.
So there's that, and as soon as we get off, I'm going to listen to Marshawn Lynch talk about punching Nazis.
Oh my God.
because shouldn't we all?
I don't know what his
That's
answer
gonna
is,
be
but
amazing.
Also, shouldn't we all listen to Marshawn Lynch?
And excuse me.
If somebody hasn't started the Punching Nazis podcast yet, we should get on that. That could be our daytime unemployment
don't have any-
podcast.
Kristen's like, "What are you doing right now?" Oh, I'm hosting punching Nazis.
Talking about punching Nazis. Anyway, Mark, do you have anything you want to talk about before we sign off?
I got nothing.
So in the
I'm gonna talk
future,
to you
we're
about
going
a
to
sleep,
plan
Mark.
for this segment.
Well, Yeah, it was a weird weekend.
I got to talk to you about the sink after the show.
I just retweeted.
No, no, you already know.
The higher
Oh,
day
yeah.
tweets. Let's
That's
go.
right.
I forgot to bring it.
We're doing that right now.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do it.
Let's talk
Yo,
about that.
Nice.
just
Let's
do it.
Let's sync up.
I think there's actual random things we'll have in the future as we sort of nail this down, and half of us aren't here at the beginning of the show and whatnot. I think for me, what I'm excited about it is getting in on guests for the show, and I think we sort of have. We've had like ups and downs in the last year, and I think we've nailed down a little bit more structure around that. Yeah. So I think we're talking about like 2 to 3 a month is sort of our target, ish, somewhere around there.
Did you guys figure out a real producer?
No.
I thought that was Tom.
But I'm gonna be the producer of guests.
In before you could make a joke about the
Yeah.
producer.
Is that one for the 6th done deal?
Oh, that is
yes,
done.
right?
That is a done deal.
You can talk about that.
We can talk about it. Let's do it.
Yo, let's do it.
LFG.
LFG, super stoked to have the one and only Nate Bowling in the house on Monday, February the 6th, 7:30, Berliner.
That's kind of like I just did for the intro today.
At NATE _bowling, like the sport.
Come down, man.
Nerd Farmer?
I will tell you
Wow.
the title of
Bowling?
that show already is going to be
The Nerd
Jackets
Farmer.
Off.
That's gonna be awesome.
That is going to be awesome.
We should do it outside.
We should do it outside.
Yes. You guys will hear this.
If you're watching online and you have the ability to come here, you should
I'm excited
come
for that
here. If
because
you're
I think
watching the recording,
we've been
you should come
talking
here.
about talking politics, talking people,
Where did
talking
you learn
sports.
English?
Dude,
Talking.
I can't wait, man.
Coog.
I can't wait for Nate to be here. Excuse me, it's talking.
Anyway,
Yeah, this is going to be huge, dude.
can we all
I
just
missed
give
that.
Mark
I'm
the
good.
gas
I
face?
missed that, so it's okay. But
Is that what they taught you at
We're going to
Rutgers?
talk sports. We're going to talk people.
That's for
Yes.
Aaron.
We're going to talk education. We're going to
Future.
talk probably some politics.
Yeah, to
We're
say
going
the
to talk
least.
about cool shit that Nate got to do in 2016
Yeah.
and 17. Dude was everywhere.
Love it.
Bill Gates is tweeting at him.
Wingtips.
Crazy.
Wingtips. We're going to talk about wingtips.
Yeah. So anyway, that's going to be really exciting. So
Yeah?
first
yeah.
first guest of the new year, Nate Bowling.
Yeah, let's go.
Feb 6.
Be here or watch online.
So anyway, first guest of the year. We'll have more to come. So next week, I expect we'll probably, if next week, either on the show or before the show, we'll have locked down the date
Your mic off on the next.
for the FIFA tournament. So stay tuned on social media in the next few days. We'll have news on that and news on next guests and so forth. Any last words? How's your beer?
Hashtag hire Dave Clark. It's good, Tom.
Yeah.
Salute.
Cheers. Nice hat.
Salute. Sorry I was running
Nice,
late, boys.
nice,
I was doing,
nice sweatshirt.
Hey, so I learned today that in a German establishment, you don't
Prost.
reach past other people to cheers other people.
Across.
Bad luck. Don't reach across them.
Really?
Or reach like I can't reach past your arm.
Basically, the
Cheers
Germans are
someone
responsible
else.
for don't cross the streams.
Yeah. So cats and dogs living together.
Only on SonarFeed, folks.
And don't cross
Don't cross the streams.
Great reference.
Anyway, we're out. We're out. Yeah, everybody want to say goodnight?
They want to karaoke, and so does Tom.
Good night, everybody.
Have
Yo,
a
wish me
wonderful
luck on that date
week.
Thanks for
tomorrow,
watching.
y'all. Let's go. I'll take it.
Buena suerte.